Would you believe there's a land where stone knows how to pray, and even time dares not intervene? Ethiopia, the sacred land never conquered, one of the only places in Africa untouched by colonization. Because of that, its language, faith, and ancestral soul remain pure, unbroken, like echoes sealed in stone. Churches carved deep into the rock, communities living as if history was only yesterday. Each region, each people, is a symphony of culture, breathing memory, singing tradition. What would you do if you were born in such a place? Could you hold on to your identity in a world constantly changing? And nature here, not just beautiful, but sacred. National parks feel like wild cathedrals where untamed ancient spirit merge into one. If you've ever dreamed of a place unconquered, where tradition lives in every breath, every step, then Ethiopia is humanity's forgotten memory, waiting for you to awaken it. Would you believe there's an African nation that never surrendered? Ethiopia, where stones speak, and history never broke. With borders intact for millennia, Ethiopia is one of the oldest countries on Earth. In ancient times, it was the heart of the Aksumite kingdom, where kings believed they descended from David and Solomon. Then, around the year 1000, the Zagwe dynasty rose, carving churches deep into the rocks of Lalibela. In 1270, the Solomonic line was restored by Yakuno Amlak, giving birth to the Ethiopian Empire. And then, in 1896, Ethiopia stunned the world by defeating Italy at the Battle of Adwa, the first time a black African nation defeated a European power. Ethiopia is not just a country, it is a symbol, a warrior that never kneeled to history. After Mussolini's invasion, Emperor Haile Selassie was forced into exile in Britain, but Ethiopia's spirit never left. The resistance continued, and by 1941, the Italians were expelled. Selassie returned, the living symbol of the Solomonic dynasty, until the monarchy ended in 1974. Why was Ethiopia never colonized? Geography played its part. Rugged mountains, scorching deserts, a land that seemed to reject invaders itself. But more than that, it was the people. Emperor Menelik II, a fierce leader, unified scattered regions, strengthened the army, and defeated the Italians in a historic battle. Though Ethiopia is a mosaic of cultures and ethnicities, it has always held onto one common soul, a red thread of identity running through the centuries, unbroken, unbending. Ethiopia, the landlocked heart of Africa, nestled in the Horn, surrounded by nations once allies, once rivals. To the north lies Eritrea, to the east, Somalia and Djibouti, to the west, Sudan, to the south, Kenya. Since 1993, it has stood without a coastline, yet never without power. Ethiopia remains vast, populous, and so diverse. Each region feels like its own universe. In the north and centre, the highlands are cold and lofty, like fortresses of cloud. Near Djibouti, deserts blaze like a furnace of sand. But the most striking feature is the Great Rift Valley, a giant scar tearing Ethiopia from northeast to southwest. And from that rupture, the earth trembles, volcanoes stir, and flowing from the cracked heart, the Blue Nile rises from Lake Tana, like life born from chaos. Ethiopia is not just mountains, stone and history. It is home to animals found nowhere else on Earth. Each region is a world of its own, and nature draws borders in its own mysterious way. Politically, Ethiopia is a federal democratic republic, divided into states and special status cities, like the capital, Addis Ababa. Because of its deep ethnic diversity, the regions are based on ethnicity. Each major group, Oromo, Amhara, Somali, Tigray, has its own land, its own voice, its own identity. Over 80 ethnic groups live here, 5 official languages, and an ancient writing system called Ge'ez, still alive today. Ethiopia is not just a country. It is a living symphony of cultures, voices, and soul. Ethiopia is not just a land, it's its people, breathing, surviving and belonging to every mountain and breeze. They are goat herders in deserts, coffee farmers in the highlands, silent workers in sprawling cities. The Amhara, the second largest ethnic group, are mostly farmers, but also long-time pillars of Ethiopia's politics, culture, and Orthodox Christian faith. The Somali live in the east, where sun and sand never rest. They are nomads, raising camels and goats, moving with the wind. The Tigray, in the north, live close to the soil, growing grains and beans, in lands carved with ancient rock churches, and the Afar, in the blazing Danakil desert, have learned to thrive where others would flee, with distinct features and an unyielding spirit. If Ethiopia's beauty and its unhealed wounds touched your heart, hit the like button, share this video to spread awareness, and comment below. I'm praying for this land. Don't forget to subscribe for more soul-stirring journeys from around the world. In Ethiopia's driest heart, where wind and dust test every breath, the Afar people still live, still follow the nomadic path of their ancestors. They raise camels, goats, sheep, not just as livestock, but as family. Islam is their main faith, blended with ancestral beliefs passed down through clans. In Afar culture, family is everything. Society is patriarchal, where men guard and provide, while women nurture life at home. Far southwest, where the Omo River cuts through savanna and forest, lies the world of the Omo tribes. Among them are the Hamar people, who herd goats and sheep, not just for milk or meat, but as symbols of honor, of social worth. In this world, cattle do not just feed, they carry spirit. In the Omo Valley, among the Hamar people, wealth isn't measured in gold, but in how many cattle a man owns. The more animals, the greater the status. And to become a man, a boy must complete the Ukuli Bula, leaping over a line of bulls without stumbling. If he succeeds, he earns the right to marry, to carry his clan's honor on his shoulders. Hamar women wear red ochre clay in their braided hair, adorned with copper necklaces and bracelets, while men style their hair uniquely. Some shave it all, others leave a single dramatic tuft. Nearby, the Karo people live along the Omo River, covering their skin in white paint, drawing intricate patterns like a silent language. They farm sorghum, maize, and beans, and transform their bodies into living art, symbols of status, ceremony, and belief. In the Omo Valley, beauty isn't painted. It's carved, in scars, in clay, in resilience etched into skin. Karo women wear earrings and jewellery, but also intricate scarifications, marks of beauty and courage. The Mursi are known for their clay lip plates. Women insert them into their lower lips, symbols of strength, maturity and pride. Mursi men duel in donga, a stick-fighting ritual not just for victory, but to prove their place among men. In Bana villages, young boys once walked on stilts to escape wild animals. Now it's a playful tradition under the sun. The Arbor people, just a few thousand strong, survive through subsistence farming. They believe in a supreme being called Wak, and speak of a time when a demon attacked their tribe, but they survived, and their leaders rose stronger than ever. In Ethiopia, the elderly are not forgotten. They are living memory, trusted voices in every community decision, but deep beneath the surface lies a memory older than mankind, the Great Rift Valley, a giant scar stretching from Omo to Eritrea, a place where the continent is tearing itself apart. Each year, the land shifts just a bit more, as if Africa is slowly giving birth to a new mini-continent. Within that rift, ancient lakes hold life. Flamingos gather at Lake Abijata. Water birds soar over Lake Zaiwe. And not far from Addis Ababa, they found Lucy, a 3 million-year-old fossil, an early ancestor, who walked upright, but still climbed with long arms. They called her Lucy, because Lucy in the sky with diamonds played through the excavation camp that day. And so, Ethiopia is not just a country. It is the cradle, the place where humans first rose and stood. In northern Ethiopia, Mount Ray lies one of the lowest, hottest and strangest places on Earth, the Danakil Depression. Here, 3 massive tectonic plates are slowly tearing apart, creating a world of molten lava, sulfur springs and acid lakes. A scene that feels ripped from another planet. Erta Ayla, a volcano deep in the Danakil Desert, holds one of the few permanent lava lakes on Earth. Burning since 1906, it glows red every night, lighting the sky as if the Earth itself were breathing fire. And then there's Dalol, a crater that looks like a dream, or a nightmare. Pools of turquoise salt, bright yellow sulfur mounds, and alien-like mineral formations. Danakil isn't just land, it's the earth in transformation, where the Nubian, Somali and Arabian plates stretch the crust like skin pulled too tight. Danakil is not just hot, it glows like Earth's liquid painting. White, yellow, green and red, colours born from boiling water reacting with deep minerals. Here, geysers erupt, twisting into strange shapes and impossible colours. And then the salt plains open wide like a dried ocean. Legend says this land was once full of gold, until the gods grew angry and turned it into salt to punish human greed. For centuries, workers carved salt into blocks, loading them onto long camel caravans across the burning desert. They lived, laboured, and traded salt like white gold. Though trucks now carry part of the load, the old ways still echo in the dust. South of Danakil, yet still in northern Ethiopia, lies Lalibela, where a king once dreamed of a second Jerusalem and carved that dream into stone, where churches were not built up, but down into earth itself. But Lalibela holds more than one church. Every carved stone is its own mystery. This is Biete Emmanuel, perhaps a royal chapel. Next, Biete Meskel, the House of the Cross, Biete Abba Libanos, and Biete Golgotha Mikael. So sacred, not all are allowed inside. Now look north, and you'll find Aksum, cradle of the ancient kingdom of Aksum, spiritual heart of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Here, massive stone stelae rise skyward, believed to mark the tombs of ancient emperors. The obelisk of Aksum stands among the tallest monoliths of antiquity. But the holiest site is the Church of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark of the Covenant is believed to rest, holding the Ten Commandments, guarded by monks for thousands of years. And legends say the Queen of Sheba, the wealthy monarch of the Bible and Quran, journeyed from Aksum to Jerusalem to meet King Solomon. And from that meeting began a bloodline, a faith, a civilization. If Ethiopia's beauty and its unhealed wounds touched your heart, hit the like button, share this video to spread awareness, and comment below. I'm praying for this land. Don't forget to subscribe for more soul-stirring journeys from around the world. After returning to Aksum, the Queen of Sheba gave birth to a son, Menelik. As a man, he journeyed to Jerusalem to meet his father, King Solomon. But when Menelik returned to Ethiopia, he was not alone. With him came nobles of Israel and the sacred Ark of the Covenant. Upon discovering this, Menelik believed it was God's will, for the Ark's power did not strike down those who carried it. It chose to stay in Ethiopia. Since then, no one may look upon the Ark, except one priest, chosen on a deathbed. Locals vow to protect it with their lives. A devotion seen even during the Tigray War, where Aksum did not kneel. Aksum lies in the Tigray region, home to ancient churches carved into rock. Hidden among the clouds, most breathtaking is Abuna Yamata, clinging to a sheer cliff. Reachable only by climbing narrow ledges along deadly drops, to touch a church suspended between heaven and earth. Inside Abuna Yamata, 15th century paintings cover the walls and ceiling, scenes from scripture, faces of saints, their colours soaked into stone and time. Nearby lie tombs of monks, final breaths carved into cliffside rock. Not far is Daniel Korkor, another church perched atop a mountain ledge, reached not just with hands, but with faith. Its isolation is a test of belief. Around it, hermits and monks live in silence, devoting life to prayer, while inside, saints watch from painted walls. Farther north, near the Eritrean border, stands Debre Damo, a monastery reachable only by rope, lowered from the cliff itself. Legend says it was God who lowered the rope to help Abuna Aragawi climb to the top. Ever since, monks have lived there in simplicity, in caves and stone huts, between heaven and whispered prayers. They say the monks of Debre Damo were the first to tame honeybees in Ethiopia. Travel farther north, where the clouds fall back to reveal towering cliffs, and you'll hear the roar of the Blue Nile Falls. Locals call it Tis Abe, the smoke of the Nile, for it throws mist high into the sky like sacred smoke rising. The Blue Nile begins at Lake Tana, Ethiopia's largest lake, born from ancient volcanic fire. Here, locals paddle fragile papyrus boats, daring the waters where hippos, Africa's deadliest mammals, wait below. Beyond lies the Amhara region and the Simien Mountains, where Ras Dashen, Ethiopia's highest peak, touches the sky. Among these cliffs lives one of the rarest canines on earth, the Ethiopian wolf, red and white like fire and snow, with a long narrow head and piercing wild eyes, and only a few hundred remain, and this land is their last refuge. In the Simien Mountains, where clouds touch stone and wind whispers through cliffs, two remarkable species still roam. One is the Ethiopian mountain goat, found nowhere else on earth. The other is the gelada monkey, ground-dwelling, not tree-swinging, sleeping on cliffs to avoid hyenas and leopards. Geladas are not baboons. Their chest glows red, like an exposed heart. They live in bands, one male, a few females, and quiet young growing up among stone and mist. They're not yet endangered, but they're vanishing, herd by herd, from habitat loss and hunting. And so we return to the centre, to Addis Ababa, new flower of Ethiopia, blooming high in the heartland. This sky-high capital is the country's cultural, financial and modern soul, home to the National Museum, where Lucy now rests, from Lucy, 3 million years old, to the red-chested gelada. Ethiopia remains a land where life, memory and the human soul are carved into stone. In Addis Ababa, amid its modern rhythm, you'll still find the soul of Ethiopia and Mercato, one of Africa's largest open-air markets, where everything is sold: spices, coffee, textiles, crafts. And the Holy Trinity Cathedral, built to honour liberation from Italian occupation, is the second holiest site in Ethiopia after St. Mary of Zion in Aksum. East of the capital lies Harar, the walled city of Islam. Inside a maze of cobbled alleys, Arabic-style houses and ancient mosques. And then a strange tradition that began in the 1960s, feeding wild hyenas. It started when a farmer fed them to stop them from killing his livestock. Now, men in Harar name the hyenas. Talk to them in English and Oromo, and feed them by mouth. And when night falls, the hyenas come, as if man is whispering to the dark. Near the Simien Mountains lies Gondar, the former capital of the Ethiopian Empire, known as the City of Castles. At its heart stands Fazil Gebi, a 17th century fortress complex of castles, royal residences and courtyards, all surrounded by towering stone walls. Its crown jewel is the Facilisdus Palace, an architectural marvel that whispers of a regal past. From stone and sovereignty to savannas and silence. In the Omo Valley lies Margo, Ethiopia's first national park, a final refuge for endangered wildlife. Its habitats stretch from acacia plains to lush river forests, home to lions, leopards, elephants, wild dogs, hippos, Nile crocodiles, giraffes, hyenas and more. Farther south, Nechisar National Park glimmers, part of its land covered in shimmering lakes. In Ethiopia, kingdoms and wilderness live side by side. In Nekisar National Park, at the northwest edge of Lake Chamo, there's a place called the Crocodile Market. Here, hundreds of Nile crocodiles gather, motionless under the sun, as if time itself has paused. Once, elephants roamed all across Ethiopia. Now they survive in only 5 or 6 scattered regions, and without urgent action, they too may vanish. But stranger still, Ethiopia's year has 13 months. 12 months of 30 days, and a 13th month with 5 or 6 days. The Ethiopian New Year, Enkutatash, is celebrated on September 11th, or the 12th in leap years. On that day, children go house to house, singing songs, offering fresh flowers. In return, they receive bread, coins, and bright smiles. In Ethiopia, even time flows differently, nearly 8 years behind the rest of the world. Because here they believe Christ was born on a different day, in a different light. If Ethiopia's beauty and its unhealed wounds touched your heart, hit the like button, share this video to spread awareness, and comment below. I'm praying for this land. Don't forget to subscribe for more soul-stirring journeys from around the world. What confuses most foreigners when they come to Ethiopia is time itself. Here, the day doesn't start at midnight. It starts at sunrise. The day is split into 2 12-hour cycles, daylight from dawn to dusk, and nighttime from dusk to dawn. If you say it's 7 a.m., an Ethiopian may smile and say, it's the first hour of the day. And 7 p.m., that's the first hour of the night. Because in Ethiopia, time isn't kept by clocks. It's kept by the sun, being near the equator. Daylight and darkness always share the day equally. 12 hours each, all long, and like the sun, their faith remains constant. No year matter who you are, or which ethnic group you belong to, the deepest spiritual root in Ethiopia is the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. A faith not just told, but carved into stone, painted on walls, and whispered through the breath of ancient churches. Christianity arrived in Ethiopia in the 4th century, when a Greek-speaking missionary, Frumentius, converted King Ezana of Aksum. From that meeting, faith spread like sacred fire, but Ethiopian Orthodoxy is unlike any other. A faith forged from the Old Testament, Jewish tradition, the New Testament, and devotion to local saints. Islam, too, came early. In 615, followers of the Prophet Muhammad sought refuge in Aksum, but it wasn't until the 11th century that Islam truly spread. And if there's one day when Ethiopia pauses for belief, it is Timkat, celebrated on January 19th. It honours the baptism of Jesus, a time of spiritual renewal and cleansing. It begins the day before with Ketera, when replicas of the Ark of the Covenant, called tabots, are paraded under vibrant umbrellas. Behind them, a sea of voices, singing, dancing and praying, not with logic, but with heart. Ethiopia holds its faith as if holding a part of its very soul. Before dawn on Timkat, the faithful gather by sacred water. As the priest blesses the pool, thousands dive in, renewing their faith as if baptized anew. Then comes Gena, Ethiopian Christmas, celebrated on January 7th. For 43 days before, Orthodox Christians fast. No meat, no alcohol, a spiritual journey to welcome Christ. But Ethiopia holds another wonder, where children run miles just to reach school. Running is the rhythm of life here, And from these highlands, Oromo, Amhara, Tigray, rise the greatest long-distance legends. Alongside Christians and Muslims, live Beta Israel, Ethiopia's ancient Jewish community, believed to have arrived after the first temple's fall. Here, faith is not just written in books, but carried in every step, every drop, every heartbeat of Ethiopia. In the mid-20th century, thousands of Ethiopian Jews left their homeland and made their way to Israel. Today, they're officially recognized as true Jews. But back home, in Ethiopia, unique traditions still live on. During a meal, one uses a piece of injera to scoop up food and gently feed it to someone else. This is gursha, a tiny gesture, yet full of affection, respect, and care. To refuse a gursha can quietly wound the heart. Once, polygamy was common in several Ethiopian communities, but today, the law allows only monogamy. In tribal groups like the Afar or Somali, old customs remain, echoes from a different time. But change is here. In Ethiopia's cities, among the youth, love now means one hand reaching for another and a gaze that lingers just a little longer. In Jamaica, during the 1930s, a spiritual movement was born, Rastafari. They revered a man named Rastafari, later known as Haile Selassie, not just as an emperor, but as the promised Messiah. To them, Ethiopia is Zion, heaven on earth. Though Selassie denied being divine, their faith remained unshaken, because his homeland is also the birthplace of coffee. Legend says a goat herder named Kaldi noticed his goats dancing after eating red berries. He tried them, shared the secret with monks, and coffee became a sacred tool for meditation, for awakening. Today, every bean from Ethiopia still carries the soul of its land, and in every traditional coffee ceremony echoes the spirit of devotion like a whispered prayer through time. In Ethiopia, coffee beans aren't just roasted, they're blessed with fire in tiny clay pots, then ground by hand and brewed in a traditional jibina. A single sip takes you to the highlands, where Doro Wat bubbles slowly over fire. Spicy chicken stew with boiled eggs and the legendary Berber spice on another plate. Kitfo, finely minced raw beef, soaked in butter, paired with the sour injera bread. Prefer stir-fried? Tibbs delivers that sizzle, bold, rich, with mitmita chili on the side. Though many live humbly, in mud homes and dusty villages, Ethiopians live with dignity and ritual. Each meal is not just food, it's a quiet celebration of life. Ethiopia, once poor and forgotten, now rising like green fields after the rain. From dark, roasted coffee beans to garments stitched for export to the world, agriculture remains the backbone, where people live by the land, by the rain, by sweat under the scorching sun. From March to May, the heat signals harvest, and in June, the rain returns, whispering rebirth. Though poverty still touches many lives, ambition flows across valleys and highlands. Textiles are booming, tourism is growing, and the Ethiopian army, one of Africa's strongest, stands tall like ancient citadels. Ethiopia is more than a nation. It's a symphony of tradition, ambition, and unbreakable life force. If Ethiopia's beauty and its unhealed wounds touched your heart, hit the like button Share this video to spread awareness and comment below. I'm praying for this land. Don't forget to subscribe for more soul-stirring journeys from around the world. Ethiopia is not just the land of coffee, ancient faiths, and legendary runners. It's also a place where people still struggle, caught between tradition and turbulence. From the proud victory at Adwa to the painful shadows of the Tigray War, Ethiopia teaches us beauty and tragedy can live side by side. If you travel here, show respect, greet with warmth, ask questions with kindness, tread lightly in zones of unrest. Don't take photos without permission. Don't raise your voice. Don't judge, because Ethiopia is not only a cradle of great civilizations, but also a scar that still bleeds in the heart of Africa. If you want to continue discovering untold mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because the next video might change the way you see the universe.